Welcome back to another quick tutorial video. Today we're going to be talking about queries. And all queries really are questions to our database, so that way we can try to take some of this data that we have and find additional just connections between the data, or maybe we need to manipulate the data in some way in order to get an outcome. So here you can kind of see a couple of quick examples here. Here I have a commission one. On one of my previous tables there on our orders, we have a price there, but we need to figure out how much our employees are going to make off of their commission, so we can cut them the proper check. So here you can see on the right here, I don't have it formatted just yet, but this is now a currency value for this price. So this query allowed us to go ahead and actually build a formula that calculates the price. We could go in here to the employees query here, and we were able to go ahead and figure out which employees made the most money over a certain value. Here we were able to just run a query and figure out, now this one shows Illinois in here too because we did an example in class, but I could actually limit to figure out which of my divisions are for Wisconsin only employees. So let's go ahead and I'll show you a couple of quick ways in order that we can build these queries. We can go under the Create tab here, and then right here is your query section. I always like to use the query wizard. It just kind of walks you through kind of step by step. We're just going to make some simple queries. And now we can go ahead and build out, we can either select information from tables, or we can select information from queries, or we can do both. So we have to try to think about what the end product is that we're making with these queries, or what the question that we're trying to ask to the data set is. So for this example here, we'll do another one for employees, so that way we can figure out who our, say, other state employees are. So I'm just going to go ahead and select some specific fields here. I'm just going to bring in their ID, first name, last name, and state. I don't necessarily need the remaining data fields in order to go ahead and figure this out. But now if I click next, and we'll say, see if we have any Minnesota-based employees. And if I click finish, you'll see now that it just formulates inside of these fields here. But we need to go ahead and filter down by some specific criteria. So the way that we can do that is by going up here and switching our view over to design view. And now that we're in design view, again, this is another way that you could do a query design, and you can bring in all of your specific tables that you may need. You could bring them in this way. And then you can go ahead and select whatever fields that you need. But for this example here, for the employees, we only really need to see those that are in the state of Minnesota. So now if you look down here, this is where we can add criteria and some formulas in the future here. But again, so if we're looking for employees that are only in Minnesota, we can choose our state here. And the first one here is sort. So we can sort by ascending or descending, right? We don't need to sort in this case here. But if we go down here to the next couple of blank rows, this is criteria. So we want it to meet specific criteria. So I put Minnesota's abbreviation in quotations. And now I can go ahead and click run. And so here I can see all of my employees, which it's repeating employees for some reason. And so maybe I want my ascending order here for my employees here too. So if I switch over to my data sheet view, I can see that I do only have 3 Minnesota employees, and now their last name is in ascending order here as well. Now I could go in and I could say, well, I want to see Minnesota or Wisconsin. And so that's exactly what this or field is for. So on these 2 lines here, we could say Minnesota or Wisconsin. And so now if we go ahead and switch over to our data sheet view, There we can see now that I have my Minnesota and Wisconsin employees. Now the only issue is that this creates a little bit of a issue with our last name sorting. Like we would probably only want to ascend our states now. So there we can go ahead and get a breakdown there in order between Minnesota and Wisconsin. So that's one way that we can write these queries, just to try to pull out additional information that is there. We have the ability here as well to go in and create a query that uses formulas here as well. So I'm going to show you a quick one here. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring in my employees. Let's bring in their salary here as well. So what I can do, again, employees. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to go back. I'm going to bring in department here as well. So I'm going to say employees with commission. Okay, so we know, say I'm sales. Okay, so we know that if we're looking for employees that make commission, it's only going to be our sales department, and then they get essentially something like, I don't know, 0.025 or something like that percentage for their commission rate. So what we can do now in this query is we can switch over again to design view. And now we're looking for only those employees in the sales department. So if I just type in sales down here in my criteria, switch it on over, I can see in my departments I only have those in sales. Now we're going to have to create a formula for their salary. And I can do that by using one of these blank fields over here. And if I just keep my insertion point up here on the top, I can now go up here to the query setup, and there's this builder option. And this will actually kind of walk you through how to build a quick formula inside of Access. So you can kind of see their example up here. And the way that this works is if we do commission, colon, so anything to the left of that colon here is going to be what the field name value is that shows up at the top. So like salary, last name, first name, all of those. Then anything to the right of this colon is then going to be our expression. And so the expression that we need is the salary. So I can just double click on that. And we can do times 0.025. So they get a 2.5% commission. And I can go ahead, and if this is my entire formula, I can click OK. And now if I switch over, I can run this, and I can see, again, that on a 2.5% commission, these are the values. In order to go ahead and quick do a format on these, I can turn on my property sheets. And again, I can go ahead and switch this over to currency now. If I want decimal places, I actually don't want decimal places. But so I can go ahead and remove those and manipulate this in the property sheet. And now if I switch back over to my view, there you can see I have just a dollar amount as well. And let's say I wanted to get even more complex with this. I want to see employees that made over 4,000 in commissions this year. So again, I can go down here into my criteria and I can say like greater than 4,000. So I can see only the sales employees that have made over 4,000 extra dollars in commission this year. Now, this isn't how it would actually work. Obviously, salary being a flat cost in real life, we would have to use our sales totals. But for this purpose, to show you the formula, to show you the criteria filtering, that's how we can kind of break this down. Now you can use these greater than and less than symbols as well for like dates as well. So if you wanted to see like what happened between like the new year and the 1st of February at the day that I'm filming this. So you could do something like greater than the 1st of January of 2021, and then less than so February 1st of 2021. And so you could run that formula in here, select it by criteria, and then it would only show you what happened in the month of January. So again, you can get kind of creative. You just have to know what you're trying to get out of this data in order to manipulate it in the way that you need. And that's a quick little rundown then of queries. So thank you.